mama said there'll be days, literally, just like this. And as the room fill up, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let people know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the ice wall, baby. And as this room fill up, be sure to also share it. It's carry. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yep. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I have the perfect round table for everyone for this beautiful Sunday, this weekend. The Trench Warfare, we at a nice event put on by Brandon Tucker. He don't do a good job at all. He do a great job in the community. He have a long list of players that he's been working out with that's on the Cowboys, by the way, like Osas of the worlds, also D-Law. Chauncey, yeah. To a degree, Marshawn Nealon. He's been working out with the Trench Warfare. So those are guys that names that comes about outside of Von Miller and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. He got everybody, you know. And in the building we have my guy Joe.
What's up?
Let people know where they can find and follow you at and all of that good stuff.
It's just at Joe Bonham on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. That's all.
TikTok, YouTube.
JoeBonham.
Yes, indeed.
As in money.
Money. And make sure put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. And also we have Candace. Let people know where they can find and follow you and all of that great splendor.
Hi, at Candace Lamb or at Candy's Locker Room.
That's good stuff.
Everything.
That's good stuff on everything. Also we have Jazz. Let people know where they can find and follow you.
Man, my handles be different, but best way to find me on anything, just search for Bitches Love Sports. You'll find the right account.
Who knows what else you'll find.
Just make sure you put all of those words together.
Put them together.
Under the YouTube channel. You know, I don't want to put it up on anything else.
It helps if you add podcasts. Bitches Love Sports podcast.
There we go.
Oh, wow. So this offseason has been a unique one. We're starting off with new coaching staff. Joe, what are your thoughts on Shotty?
I mean, I don't know too much about him. I talked to Dez about it at the Super Bowl. He kind of said the same thing. He's like, I don't have anything bad to say about him, but we'll see. You know, I saw briefly the interviews with I don't even remember his name. Who's the guy that came in? I don't even know. There's like some O-line guy that came in. I forget his name. Recently, he did an interview.
Clayton Adams, Connor Riley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clayton Adams. I mean, I don't know. I mean, in the interview, he seemed very serious. He seemed very fired up, which got a lot of good feedback from the fans. They said that's what we need. So the coaches can help, but, you know, I think that the players, the talent on the roster is more important. And so I feel like, you know, we've got to address some things there.
Right.
For sure.
Right. What's your thoughts, Candace, on the new coaching staff? And
I think that I'm not going to say anything is better than what we did last season, but
Right.
but pretty much at this point, it's a wait and see game. I say give the guy a chance. I mean, we have no choice.
I got it right here.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns. But there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
We don't know. That's basically what you
Basically,
said.
it's like we have to wait and see what this plays out like. I mean, he's kind of coming in at the perfect time. We had a terrible season, so it can't get much worse than that. So I think, hopefully, that it's up from here for the Cowboys.
Come on with it.
That soundbite is the perfect soundbite for this this coaching staff, because there's so many questions. Like, going back to Joe's point about fans being impressed by Shotty's, just his liveliness. One, I was surprised that people didn't know that about Schottenheimer. I'm just like, he's been with the team for years. Like we didn't know this man gets fired up. Do y'all not watch his press conferences? This man, like he's a little fireball. Which sounds a lot more cute and demure than it actually is. But, like, yes, he's got energy. He's got passion.
Yeah.
He always brings it, not only behind the podium, but also at practices. Like, I love Shotty for that reason. I love what he brings to the table as a coach, even when he was just the OC and directing things at practices. I love the way players respond to him.
Right.
I love the way that he talks about players because, to me, it shows that he is looking at the individuals, not just what they can do on the field, but he's also considering things like mindset, how they prepare, how they recover.
Right.
All of these things are important, especially with a 17-game season. So I'm really excited about it. Like your soundbite said, there's some known unknowns. There's some unknown unknowns, not only with him, but, you know, you've got Clayton Adams, who gave the most generic description of what he wants for an offense. He's like, I want a fast, physical, aggressive offense that can run the ball.
Yeah.
You and every – I was about to cuss. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
I'm like, you and every fucking body else.
Yeah.
So
Come on with it.
it's like, okay, how are we going to do that? To Joe's point, player talent is very important. You know, we've got questions about, okay, what is Eberflus's defense going to look like with the, like, who's even going to be on the defense? Like, what is Connor Riley going to do with the O-line? Like, Clayton Adams, the way he's talking, he wants O-linemen out in space. Okay, so who besides Tyler Smith is really prepared to do that? So, yeah, it's lots of questions.
Man, it's gonna be one of those things, man. Areas that we need to improve on the most, Joe. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of holes. You don't have a running back, really. I mean, they said Rico Dowdle. I saw an update. I think it was from ML Football, you know, tweets all the players that are going to get re-signed soon. But said Rico Dowdle could be getting a big payday because he had a career year over 1,000 yards. But, I mean, it was a 17-game season, and, like, our quarterback was out for most of the year. So, like, we don't really have a running back. We have holes in the O-line. Zach Martin, I spoke to him at the Super Bowl, and I asked him, I said, are you going to be back with the Cowboys? And he said, I don't know. I don't have a contract. So I guess they didn't offer him something, so he didn't want to play for another team. So we've got a hole on the O-line now. You know, you look at the last 2 years, we lost Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. Now we're looking at Cooper Beebe, who's an unknown. Like, he may be okay. You got Tyler Smith and then Terrence. Like, we don't have anyone really on the O-line that's doing well for us. So, I mean,
outside of Tyler Smith, like you said.
Yeah. So, I think the coaches, they could be great. But if they have success this year, they should get a round of applause because this roster where it's at currently – just it doesn't look great. So I don't see how they don't go with a skill guy, how they don't go with the Ashton Genty or someone in the draft because, you know, there's so many holes on the O-line that just one player is not going to have a huge impact, whereas if we got a skill guy to help Dak out, I think it would have a much larger impact.
Where are you at with Dak Prescott? What all do you see?
I love Dak. I think that honestly, he's probably only got a couple years left. I am concerned with the hamstring, how it snapped like that.
Right.
I think the world of him as a person, but just kind of looking outside in, he turned 31 last training camp.
Right.
His birthday's always at training camp. This year he's going to turn 32. I mean, you know, Romo didn't only play till he was 35, maybe 34, 30. Was it 35? 35. Romo played till 35, and Dak is actually a more athletic guy. So, I don't know. I just, you know, we don't have a better option than Dak right now.
You're right. And right now our backup quarterback is what's the guy that played for Virginia? I forgot his name. You know, I don't even know his name.
Wait, do we still have Trey Lance?
No, we don't have Trey Lance. What's the other guy? We picked him up.
Will Greer?
Will Greer is our backup, West Virginia.
Will
right?
Greer.
Is our backup.
He's
name I haven't heard in years, 2
our
years.
former backup that became our new backup.
Yeah. So that's all we have. So we got holes at quarterback room. We got holes at running back room.
It could be. This is the scariest moment in over 15 years to be a Cowboys fan. Like, we could be entering a depressionary, like
you think
you know
it would
how
be worse than when they were in quarterback purgatory?
Do you know how? Well, here's the thing: you know how we're going through quarterbacks like Bledsoe, Quincy Carter, stuff like that. Like, we're lucky we have Dak right now, but if we don't start building something here, the next like 1-2 years, we could be in a really bad spot. But it is a scary,
because it's this.
Well, what I'm saying is that they are known knowns and that they are known unknowns.
That's the reason why. Because at the end of the day, we have so many holes. We don't know who Shotty is. We can lean on optimism, but it's been 30 years, 30 seasons. So we're sitting back saying, okay, all right, now they're saying they're going to introduce run game. These are things that we've been banging on the table for Dak Prescott since he's been here. Of course, we had it a little bit with Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
But I think that there was a lot of things that we just didn't do right properly even with him. We had Jason Garrett. His second season, he was suspended for 6 games on the field, off the field, and then by the time we realized to start to use him, that's when we started to experiment with Kellen Moore. Let him be a coach in training on calling plays. So it was always something with the Cowboys, whether it's the player or it's the front office. But hopefully, man, this season we can change.
I don't think there's anything wrong with leaning on optimism right now.
That's all we got.
I mean,
so what do you think? What do you think
optimism.
we can actually look forward to as far as the draft and free agency? Because we don't have a ton of money.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Yeah.
Rico, his market value is $6.5 million. So.
Yeah, that's more than half of what Derrick Henry, was. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. So I don't know if you're going to bring him back. So what I would say is what we can lean on is I think the Cowboys should run to the podium. If 12 is there with the 12th pick, and if you can see Ashton Genty, I think you need to start with that piece.
Yeah.
And you can say, all right, we got us a running back now.
Mm-hmm.
Next step will be in the second round, you can look for that wide receiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey, I got me a wide receiver that I can marry up with CeeDee Lamb.
Or trade up. I think you
Yeah.
need a receiver bad, so you may even trade up in the early second, early day 2.
Oh, wow.
Something like that, We need a receiver bad.
Hey, I'm all down for it. If
We need
Trey
y'all in the
Harris-
war room.
Come on, we need to get there. Come on. What are y'all thoughts? Because that's just only on offense. Think about this. Trayvon Diggs, he got bone to bone. It says a 9-month recovery, right? So that's you pretty much can kiss him goodbye for the 2025 season. So our only DB right now is Deron Bland, who's in a contract year, and Carson.
I mean, the issues with personnel on defense are not only like
So we need
who
help
do
in
we
wide,
have,
yeah.
but it's like the types of players that Eberflus wants.
Yeah.
So it's like both of those things have to be considered, which is one of the reasons
Mm-hmm.
why I think it's essential that they re-sign Oso Odigizua. Like when you look at what it
Right.
well, what we know Eberflus for, because once again, known unknowns. We don't know what he might
Right.
bring to the table here, what the head coach might dictate or any of
Right.
that. But when you look at how he typically runs a defense, it's like Oso Odigizua is a perfect fit in everything from the athleticism that he looks for to the type of discipline and follow through that he looks for. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I feel like that's one of those things that makes answering that question tricky. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like there's an answer and I just have it. Like, I know that's a cool thing to do on podcasts like this one. But, like, I'm going to be real. I do not envy the jobs of the scouts, of the decision makers, of the coaches right now. Because when it comes to putting this team together based on the way the coaches say they want it to look,
Right.
there's a lot of spots to fill. And you're working with the constraints of, like, yes, the salary cap is going up. Awesome. But
Yeah.
you're still working within the constraints of all the contract situations and the dollars that the Cowboys are already spending. So, yeah, there's a lot to decide there.
If you were a GM right now, would you kind of like with the opinions that, Law shared of just drafting, would you make any crazy moves?
Define a crazy move.
Like trading a player
Okay.
to get better long term?
That's
See,
not
that
unheard of
that would
for us.
depend on who you're trading and for what. Like, you can make any trade
All right.
sound good
Well,
on
let's
paper.
name a key piece in the Cowboys franchise.
Oh, wow.
Okay. We're playing this game. Who?
What's a key piece?
I mean, any of the key pieces, who I consider key pieces, I wouldn't. Not right now. Just because there are so many people to replace. Like,
So if maybe I think about it this way, like a J.J. Watt with the Texans.
Right.
Say they had him 1 year, right? And say, let's
Yeah.
look at his career, all right? So he was with the Texans, and I'm just guessing here. I think he was with the Texans for about 7 years. And he was good he was amazing for the first 5.
Right.
But he had injuries that he was always playing through, the giant brace on the elbow, everything.
Okay.
If they had traded him after year 4 or maybe in their year 5 where he had an MVP season or a Defensive Player of the Year season, I should say.
Right.
He never got MVP. I think he just got Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
Yeah.
But they probably could have gotten a Herschel Walker type trade for him. And statistically, with the information they had there, they know that a lot of these defensive players aren't like a Bruce Smith playing forever.
Right.
So they say, okay, we've already pretty much got him for his prime, right?
I see where you're going.
I think
see
if
where
they
you're
had
going.
And he only gets more expensive on this other side of his contract, the rest of his career on the last tail end. But, you know, we got all the value right there. So I think that, you know, Cowboys fans don't like it when you trade a player that it's like everyone's got his jersey like a Micah Parsons or like
I don't think it's about him having trade like that.
Like a Luka.
If they made a significant trade like that, then I would expect.
I don't think it's about a jersey. I think it's about knowing what you have in a player and not knowing what you're trading for. So, like, if the Texans had a crystal ball, they might have made that trade, but they didn't. They worked with the information that they had at the time. Like, nobody
would have been hated.
Nobody,
for sure.
Yeah, nobody blamed them at the time. It's easy to look at almost anything in hindsight and be like, yeah, that was wild. Why did you do that? Well, it's like, okay, because I couldn't predict the future. That's why I did that. Leave me alone.
But the thing is, with the Cowboys, you can't make a trade like that and not bring a player in that's going to be
equal.
But that's the thing.
They have to bring someone that's not equal.
So
they would have to bring somebody in that comes and make an immediate
So here's
impact.
the thing: is we won't win a
But then
Super
what's the
Bowl
point,
anyway.
though?
Exactly.
So
because we have
the risk
I feel like there's
is you don't. So risk is like you go 10-7, right? So it's like, oh well, we might end up tanking or whatever. So the risk is that we actually get a higher draft pick. So that's an upside. So I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot of assumptions rolled up into one.
No,
it's like
what are you saying basically? And I know where you're going, but basically you're saying that it's like trading Travis Frederick or Zach Martin or Tyron Smith while they was in their prime to get something back in return.
It depends what you can get. If you get ripped off like a Luka trade, but if it was like that's one thing. But if it was like, you know, for instance, you know, if I say a Micah Parsons, right? People are like, do not trade Micah. And that's a huge that is a huge risk because you could lose a fan base because so many people would be mad.
I mean, you could lose an integral part of your defense. Who you getting that's really going to make up for Micah Parsons being gone? And people keep throwing around the Herschel Walker
you
trade.
Like lose
there's
any sacks in the playoffs because he's only had about 1 or 2 in 5 playoff games. So
I mean, he's gotten like 52 point something sacks in 63 games. Like I'm not really tripping over a couple of like he's only got a couple of sacks in a couple of playoff games. Like big deal. But like the reason why the Herschel Walker trade hasn't happened since then is because the league is literally set up for trades like that not to happen. So even if you trade Micah Parsons, it's not going to be like the Herschel Walker situation. The NFL has to approve all those transactions. It's not going to happen.
I would say like a Khalil Mack trade, though. Even just a few years ago, they got 3 first-round picks for him. But I just say that because the Cowboys, they're in a really bad, cap space spot. And so I just think about building for the future and –
so you're thinking of the best alternative, basically getting one player traded to receive multiple
if you were to trade a player like
players.
Micah, you would have to get at least
we're gonna
3
get this.
first-rounders. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I see where you're going.
If someone offered,
that would hurt for sure.
If someone offered 1 first-rounder and a second-rounder, I'd say get out of here. That's where you get ripped off. But I think 3 first-rounders plus some mid-round picks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
we got a super chat on that.
No,
on
absolutely
that
topic. But doesn't it make you question though? Like, say we lose a guy like Trayvon, who's supposed to be an integral part of our defense,
correct?
And we still end up playing all right because we've got Deron Bland playing the same position. It's like, okay, shoot, we paid him how much?
Yeah.
And it does make you question those things.
No, that's how they calculate.
We got a super chat from JCK states that trade Micah for Chase.
Chase Young. Wait, Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, because
Jamar.
Jamar Chase.
But
Both are looking for 35 to 40.
We can't make those type of trades, and we still have, like,
Trading.
I'm not going to say holes, but we still need a running back that we could completely depend on. We don't know if we're going to keep Rico Dowdle. We still need a wide receiver to complement CD. And we still don't, and I know quarterback isn't it really in the picture because Dad's going to stay, but we need a reliable backup quarterback. We have Cooper Rush, but
that will be a good trade, though. Think about it.
What trade for Jamar Chase?
Burrow always need help with defense.
Yeah.
Are you talking about for them?
I think it would be an equal trade.
Yeah.
It'll be an equal. It will be equal, you know.
It would be insane.
We will win on a trade because we have CD and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But I think no, because Micah is even. He said before, basically he's willing to take a pay cut or he's willing to take less. So why would you trade a player that is
Micah
such a
is
team
literally
player?
one of the most dominant defensive players, not only on the Cowboys but in the league. Like
I'm
we're not
saying
talking
the fact
about
that he's
your team's best player. We're talking about literally one of the NFL's best players. Like that would just be bananas. Like even if you trade him for draft picks.
The only way that would happen,
well,
like,
look
this
at
is a
how
Cowboys
often-
track record. Like, it would literally be like Amari
Rush?
Cooper. It
Amari
would
Cooper.
literally be where
Amari
everybody's like, "What the hell? Why did they trade Amari Cooper?" Where apparently there were things going on behind the scenes that no one knew about. It would have to be that type of situation for the
there are
Cowboys to
stuff
trade.
going on that we don't know about apparently. But no, I mean I get it. But the thing is with draft picks, you get some guys that are 22 years old, and it's like, okay, you got Micah, and just statistically, like Micah could play a long time, right? But most of these guys that are pass rushers, they don't play, they played maybe 9 years. And
But also with that, I like that.
something like that. He's already played
These guys,
4 or 5.
if we have young guys coming in to replace him, there's always been like a vet in that arena to kind of train up these guys. Like we have Overshown, who's kind
I'm
of
with that.
taking the ranks behind Parsons. We have Kendricks that's in the mix right now, but I think that we would have to keep a vet in there to kind of show these guys the ropes.
That's another issue too
100%.
that you have to work
I
through.
mean, it's just so often that rookies come in and they need development, or they're just
Right.
overall a bust, or they have some sort of lifestyle issues. To me, even trading for 3 first-round picks is not worth the risk, in my opinion. If it was somebody besides Micah Parsons, maybe, but like you wouldn't get 3 first-round picks for them.
The only
So-
reason
Let me read
I
this
don't
one
like
right quick. I got Angie, the Rebel chick. She says, for the $9.99, appreciate you for your support. States that keep Micah and get Myles Garrett. We need to add, not take away. What's your thoughts
I
on
agree
that?
with that. The thing is, Micah Parsons said that he would take a pay cut in order to bring Myles Garrett to the Cowboys. Great.
Yeah.
Except that, once again, the NFL has to approve all those transactions. So they're not just going to be like, well, Micah Parsons says he'll take this amount of money. They have to look at how that would affect basically the NFL market for everyone at his position, and how that would basically have a domino effect on future trades, future transactions, future, salary offerings. So there's a lot to consider there besides what does Micah Parsons want and what do the Cowboys want. When the NFL looks at that, if Micah wants something that's way too low, they can be like, no, because this is going to completely disrupt the market, but like not in the way we thought you were going to disrupt the market, in the opposite way. So like, yeah, on paper it sounds dope. I'm like, by all means, I would love to have Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett both on the Cowboys defense.
1000%.
But I just, for what it sounds like Micah might have to do in order to make that happen, I just don't know if the NFL will approve it. So there will have to be some other moves around that in order for the Cowboys to pull that off, I think.
Moves around that. JCK, he states here with a super chat. Man, appreciate you for the super chat. He says, bull sugar. Jamar Chase helps you now. Micah
doesn't help us right now? Sorry, I didn't even let you finish right there.
I got my Mississippi hooked on phonic reading, and 1,000 words per minute. I don't know. I think Shoot, Chase will help you out right now.
So we're just gonna act like the defense wasn't struggling before Micah came back off an injury. We're just gonna act like despite all the games he missed, he still didn't get double-digit sacks. We're just gonna act like he's still like people talk about Micah like he's just fallen off. Like he's still not referred to as a future Hall of Famer and one of the best players in the league. Like where's all this Micah hate come from?
They don't.
If this
Podcast. After that, they started hating and hating. I'm like, leave the man alone.
No, what I'm saying, if this trade happened before the draft, then I'm sitting here like, okay, all I need now is to find. I know you can't find another Parsons, but you can find Jalen Walker. You can go get a Mason Graham if he falls.
If that type of trade did happen for the
that
draft,
type of trade,
it would give me a lot of belief in the team and that they're like layering things in a direction to actually build the team. Because the thing is, like the thing you mentioned earlier, if they made a significant trade and we got like 3 great picks, I still would just be a little unsure because I would have to
if they would have made that trade, it would confirm for me
on defense and offense
So
that they have lost it.
Let's say this right here. All right. Let's travel in the future. All right. So they make this trade.
Right.
Okay. What happens? Say they get one good player, one great player out of the 3. The other 2 are All right. Are you happy? Say we basically replaced Micah Parsons because we got like an Abdul Carter type player. Are you happy there?
No.
But that's the thing. There's so many like
here's the thing is because of that, say it didn't pan out so well, we basically got a top 5 draft pick and got a generational quarterback or running back. Because that's what it would do. So it's like, okay, it's kind of like in the middle there because it could turn out great for us and maybe 2 of the 3 hit and we get 2 or 3 really great players, or it doesn't pan out and we're screwed and we lose a bunch of games and we get a high draft pick.
I just think
but
that
look
like
at how
the
perfect
Cowboys,
of a situation.
We've never had like when we've we've had generational talent before, but we've never had all of the key pieces to get us far enough to the Super Bowl. So like
I think we're a few key pieces away though is the problem. I think
so we would have to have like
how many key pieces away do you think we are right now?
About 4 or 5.
Can you run the ball and can you stop the run? Yeah.
What's the only way we can get there right now?
Trade or shit. If we hit in this draft, then we have to hit in this draft. If not, then we have to figure out ways to restructure some contracts so that we can move some money around so we can do some free agents.
Even if we did because trade Micah Parsons, we're not going to get all the key pieces that we need.
I think that
trading Micah Parsons will always sound crazy.
I think they have to hit in the draft because if we look at the last 2 off seasons, really the last off season, what they did was they didn't go super hard in the draft. They kind of this free agent and this free agent, and luckily that worked out well. But now Jerry says that he's gonna go all in. Again, he's saying that again, but at what point? You can't just keep reaching out into free agency and thinking that you're going to get the best player. So I think we have to make the most out of this draft and get the best players that we can.
What I'm hoping is that this time when Jerry says all in, maybe he means that he's what are they doing?
Man,
I'm hoping he means that they'll stop trying to outsmart themselves in the draft. And by that I mean oftentimes there's a decision that looks like it's a good decision. It's obvious. And then they're like, nah, we're going to take somebody nobody would ever expect us to take in the first round. And it's like, there's a reason nobody would ever expect you to do that. So if they could stop doing that, that would be great.
got another super chat from Angie. She states with a $5 support, Micah is the key piece on the defense. We have too many wishy-washy fans here. What's your
dope statement, Angie. True.
Yeah, and I really think a lot of the times people get on the hate train and it's personal. They don't like the player personally. They're not looking at how they play and their stats. They're just like, oh, I hate that he's talking. I hate that he has a voice. I hate that he's doing this. It's like, look at what he brings to the team, though.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that with everybody who doesn't like Micah being part of the Cowboys, but there are definitely some people who just don't like him and they look at the trade conversation as an opportunity to fantasize about a player they don't like no longer being on their favorite team, and that's all it is.
I think it's crazy that Cowboy Nation, and not everybody, but they do that like with our biggest players. It's Micah Parsons. At one point, it was.
It's because there's such a spotlight
and it's
on
always
them.
almost Dak Prescott. I'm like, Can you just choose someone else that
that we if you put that kind of a spotlight on anybody, you'll find qualities that you don't like.
Throughout the years, I always looked at the Patriots and the way they did things. And they never really gave some of these guys like huge contracts. It was like kind of instead of like, say, who was the guy that went to the Cardinals?
Chandler Jones.
They didn't give him a huge deal, and he was kind of shocked by it. But what they did, instead of getting one guy that they pay a ton, he gets injured, tears something, and he's now out for the year. They kind of seemed like they did things by committee. They had a guy who's better at run stopping. They would sub him in with a guy that goes in on third down. He's a pass rusher.
Right.
So they kind of spread out their money a little bit that way, and kind of focused on doing things by committee and not just putting their eggs all in one basket. And it's like now we've got a guy like Trayvon. He's out. The last couple of years it seems like, but I always just look at that, and then kind of the age of the guys, like building younger, more sustainable, cheaper, so we're in a really bad spot right now. But
I feel like in those areas maybe it's where we can grab in free agency, but for the draft, I really, really would like us to just get a running back, please.
To get a running back.
Please.
Get us
please.
one.
I'm so sick of this
room.
running back conversation when it could be so simple.
I mean, we're going to have a physical, aggressive offense, apparently. So, yes, they've got to get a running back to match.
But for right now, the running back that we have on our team, all three of you guys are taller than him, and it's Tiny Deuce Vaughn. So they're going to have to go figure out a way to add to that weapon and not take away from the weapon.
Ashton's only 5'9". He's only 5'9", but
he's a little bit taller than
but he's freaking
running backs
full
get a
muscle.
slight pass.
Yeah.
And Ashton Genty, 5'9", he gets a pass.
And he really wants to play for them too. He lives out here. I think everything's lining up for that to happen. But
Ashton,
we'll
welcome
see.
to the Cowboys.
Come on to the Cowboys, man. Let it be happening just like this, so we can hear that
anytime.
Ashton Genty.
And with a such and such pick to the Dallas Cowboys, Ashton Genty.
Yes, indeed. I got three more super chats.
Okay.
I got Posey with the $5. He said, let me borrow the Riggs button for you on the Micah Parsons foolishness. Angie states, Micah needs to help. It takes more than just one player.
Micah needs help.
Yeah. And then JCK states that for $4.99, it's Micah been here, and we haven't done SHI. And then you put the rest of it
What
on
do y'all expect Micah to do?
Make a trade for Chase, huh?
Get a sack in the playoffs.
I'm so confused.
I'm sorry.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
but there's just other pieces that go into that.
They expect Micah to make every play on defense. They want him to get all the sacks, all the tackles. They want him to get all the interceptions. They want him to single-handedly
it's not just him
will the Cowboys to a Super Bowl championship. That's what they want him to do.
I want you guys
they want
to
him
go
to go
and look
on the field by himself and stop the opposing offense and get the Cowboys a Lombardi. That's what they expect from this
before
man.
Micah? Who do we have before Micah?
D-Law was our
No,
guy.
who before that?
D-Law went off in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
I remember his rookie year, D-Law got a huge sack against the Lions, so he's had no problem showing up in the playoffs. But, I mean, even our offense doesn't show up in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
But Cowboy fans tend to look at one isolated situation and say that's the reason why.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Right.
They do have a bad habit of doing that.
It's Micah.
I don't get it.
It's Micah Prescott.
Why are we so bad? Why do we always just suck in the playoffs? Like, why was Dak looking at CD like they both wanted to cry, and they're like, oh, no, it's happening again. Did it not
think they
seem
both
like
did want to cry.
and here's the thing, though. Is it was literally 5 minutes into the first quarter, like halfway into the first quarter.
Yeah.
And they look like they would, because they look
I
like.
said that. I keep
Well,
telling people
that's
that.
the
It was
thing.
the weirdest
It
thing.
seemed like they
the
had
energy
so much
on the
pressure.
team was so weird that game. Like, people
And
have asked me, like,
oh, and you
I'm
know
like, it
who
was
I
just-
asked about this too? I asked Bryce Butler when I was at the Super Bowl, and I asked him, I said, is there something with the culture here? It just seems that way, the country club culture mentality, or these guys like not working hard or something, like, or what is it? He's like, no, it's not that at all. He said that there was a lot of pressure, and these guys were focused. whenever they went to the playoffs and they would talk about it, like, we haven't shown up in the playoffs. We've got to show up. Like, we've got to lock in. So I don't know what it is.
They look
no, I think you just said
Bay.
what it is. I think what you're saying is what happens. It's
Maybe a lot of pressure.
Yeah, when you put that much pressure on yourself and then things don't go well in the very beginning, it's very easy for you to mentally start spiraling out of control. I think that's why
what happened in that game.
Yes, I think that's why after that season, after that playoff game, that's why you started to hear so much from CD about his mentality and the need to mature. What you heard from a lot of players was talk about their mindset, their maturity, leadership, the need for a certain type of culture. What that tells me is that what they see the problem as is one, dealing with culture and dealing with mindset. Were there some things that physically went wrong in terms of gameplay, in terms of people not actually doing their physical jobs? Absolutely. But whatever happened in the subsequent discussions, they came to the conclusion that, like, no, it is culture, it is leadership, it is mindset. These are the things that we need to fix. So I think exactly what you're saying is what happened. They put a lot of pressure on themselves, and that look that we saw in their eyes was them realizing, oh, my goodness, I've built up this moment, and now I'm going to fail not only myself, but also the fans. And also there are all these other implications for the coaching staff and so on and so forth. You start to feel that.
That was just insane to me, because it was like there is so much, like, it was maybe 0-0 at that point or 7-0. So there was so much game to be played.
And it was like a divide. Even
momentum
on the sideline,
thing,
like
though.
you saw CD over here. Some of the other plays, like, they were isolated. It was a very strange sight. I remember that game. It was nothing like where when they went to Tampa. And, of course, that was different. I was out of town, but it was just a completely different feel. They had these looks on their faces like they were doomed.
Yeah.
It was like they were like in some weird
I think
zone
mindset.
in their
I think
faces.
mindset coaching plays a major role in that, not a minor one. So
those guys play better. And even Schottenheimer mentioned this when he was talking about how he plans to run the offense. They play better when they're able to play free. So the less that's on their mind, not only in terms of pressure, but also in terms of following, like, this strict script in terms of the plays that they're going to run and how they're going to run them and who gets a certain amount of snaps and who gets a certain amount of carries. When they're able to, for example, we've all seen how much better they do when they're going, like, on a tempo offense, right? When they're able to kind of react a little bit more in the moment and do what feels best in the moment, they just tend to do better. And it might just be a situation where you have an offense full of players who all tend to do better in that type of situation.
I think that's why it's important to bring in another wide receiver. I say that because I may get backlash behind this.
No, there's no backlash. They have nobody besides
I love
CD.
Dak Prescott, but I feel like Dak Prescott is a very, like, on the money thrower. Like, I want you to be in this spot. I feel like Romo was a bit better with meeting the receiver wherever we're throwing the ball up in the
So you think
Romo
was more talented?
Well, I'll say Dez and the Dez and Romo connection. Like, you throw the ball up, I'm going to get it here. I just feel like
Dak retired today, who's better? Who had a better career?
Dak or Romo?
Yeah, are they tied or are they?
Are you trying to get me? I will say they're each different. I used to call Romo I used to call Romo the second half quarterback. He just.
I think Dak actually does a pretty good job of having chemistry. It's just like you said, he's only had CD. Yeah. And CD just gets better and better every season.
Thank you. I think that's what I was trying to say.
I don't think he needs variety. I think CD needs a compliment, because what happens when CD is on the field?
But that's variety. Like if CD is like.
I guess the way I look at it, I'm like,
running.
They already have variety. Like, because on paper, they got a bunch of receivers.
Well, no, but I mean, like, okay, let's say this. Like, CD is, like, the best at running slants, and, like, that's his forte. And if we had a big guy come in, like Mike Evans, that's a guy you could just throw the ball up, and he's going to catch it anywhere in the air.
Right.
So that's what I mean in terms of variety, like, with that.
I guess when I hear the word variety, I think quantity. We need more types, and I'm like, nah, we got more types. Like, look at the roster. We got receivers.
No, so I mean it like think.
So when I say compliment, I mean like how you mentioned Mike Evans. We need a name, somebody who will take some of the attention off of CD, because what happens so often is that, like, you'll have other receivers on the field, and the defense is just like. And
so I'm curious, how long have y'all been Cowboys fans?
Since I was a kid.
3 years.
3 years?
Okay.
3 years? Okay. Why 3 years? Was it like a new interest, or did you have a different team you were going for?
I grew up a Saints fan.
Okay.
And then I kind of had this weird period in life where I kind of got away from sports. When I started this podcast, as you're getting to know me, welcome to the world of Bitches Love Sports.
I did that too.
When I started this podcast, my co-host at the time was not from America. She was from Spain, had never watched American football. So we thought it would be fun to start watching football and talking about it on the podcast. The Cowboys were on Hard Knocks that summer.
Yeah.
And so we started watching it and talking about the episodes every week. And she fell in love with Ezekiel Elliott. And so after that, we just carried that over into the season. And then it's like I had watched CD a little bit when he was in college. And I remembered when Dak and Zeke had come into the league, but I still wasn't a fan at the time. I just remembered their story. So it's like I kind of started to get a little bit attached to these players who I was watching previously, and I was like, oh, they're all on this team. This is dope. And then she was like finding these new players, so we're like, all right, we're just going to cover the Cowboys now. Like, that's what we do.
So basically the year that they were doing really well, that's convenient. All right, how about you? I'm just playing.
I'm just it's like that. No, I mean, that's how teams get new fans. It's like, oh, you're on Hard Knocks.
Since I was a kid, my dad's a really big Cowboys fan. Since I don't want to tell my age.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Okay, what season?
What season? Well, I was a kid.
Player,
I was like
who was the receiver that year? Do you remember? Was it a Terrell Owens or was it a Des Bryant or?
I can't tell you. It's gonna be no.
Oh, it was
Des
Michael
was
Irvin.
like adulthood.
Or Drew Pearson.
No, not that old. I'm like, no, I'm not that old. But he's just been a Cowboys fan, so I go to watch the games with him all the time. And
was that at Texas Stadium or Cowboy Stadium?
Oh no, I'm from Galveston, so I'd like watch the game on TV with him.
Okay.
But we came up in 2016 to watch Cowboys and Bucks game. I think that was 2016, 2017, and I've been to a couple of games there since, but yeah.
And what about you, Law? I'm curious. Curious. We need to ask him. I probably need to do just a video with him to trivia him on Cowboy stuff. Yeah. Because he would get all of them right, I know. But,
oh, my God.
I think that would be pretty awesome to do. The Cowboys guy.
The Cowboys guy. I became a fan of the Cowboys because of this guy who wore 24. His name is Everson Walls.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I started.
Cornerback.
Yeah. My guy Trayvon Diggs tied his record. Didn't beat it. Tied
11
INTs in 1 year. So Everson, he went to Grambling State University. Mm-hmm. And pretty much when he got on to the Cowboys, he was the guy that was like 4'6", or 4'7" in the 40, slow, knock-kneed, was like most likely not to be able to be a guy that people thought they can be a dangerous cornerback.
Everson ran that slow?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Everson ran that slow. But can you imagine how smart you got to be and good you have to be athletically to be able to get 11 INTs running a 4.6? Shoot.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's insane. I wonder what kind of defense they ran back then. If it was a lot different, That's a lot of interceptions, especially because how many games did they play? They probably played 14 games.
They played 14 when he did it.
And Trayvon was 17, I think, that year.
Yeah,
so
that's
but yeah.
What about you, man? You didn't put us in
when
the
I
hot
moved
seat.
to Texas and they went 13-3, so there was a good year to be
okay.
hop on the bandwagon. But I didn't know football, but they had Romo, Witten, DeMarcus Ware, Marion Barber. It was actually the best year in the NFL that year because you had the undefeated New England Patriots playing the 9-7 Giants that upset the Cowboys in the playoffs. But it was the year that Eli took down Brady, but it was and Brady had 50 touchdowns that year, and you had Randy Moss. I mean, it was probably the most insane year to start being a fan. Like, it was one of the best years to start watching football. So,
yeah,
dope.
And that was after the absolute fumbles thing from Tony Romo.
Yeah, that was the year after. But,
like 07,
I mean, those years after, I was a huge Cowboys fan, like down to the paint on my wall. Like, I had I thought the more memorabilia that I had in my room, the more successful we would be.
I think the year that I was most deep in the trenches was when I actually lived in Los Angeles. Yeah. And I drove out to Oxnard for my first camp, and I got in a wreck on the way.
Wow.
and someone hit me from behind on the one-on-one, and I was like, no. And I was not, like, worried about being hit. I'm like, they're going to make me miss the camp. So they took so long, like, the cops took so long to come. I was like, just give me your information. So I, like, looked, and I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm so worried. I'm like, I just don't want the back of my car to be so ugly that they're like, you drove here like this? That was my biggest worry. But I got in the car, I went to the camp, and I went to the hospital afterwards. But I went to the camp, and you would have sworn I was, like, at Disneyland. I loved it. That year wasn't, like, a whole lot of people out there.
That was a training camp?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. You got to do that.
Yeah,
Man.
it was. I went that day, and then I don't work there anymore, so I can say this. But I called my boss and told him, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not feeling well. And I went to camp again the next day.
Good Lord, that's good stuff.
I love camp out there.
Got a few other super chats here. Angie States asked the panel what are our thoughts basically on Michael Parsons' podcast, and do they feel it affects him playing on the field?
I've
No, it
answered
doesn't.
this a lot. I'm like, no.
Podcast Parsons.
I would think, let's say we're all here and we're all football players.
Right.
Does this affect us going out and being able? Does this affect our physical
Here's the
ability to
thing.
do what we need to do?
Here's the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going to get any scrutiny that he gets and the Cowboys don't have success, that's going to happen. So that is what it is. If I go and do my job, right, it's like I make videos for a living.
Right.
If I go and, don't do, say, like maybe my videos, like I'm already going to spend a few hours doing them, right? And so maybe they do well, right? And then I post some other videos of me screwing around, having fun, whatever, silly stuff. And maybe the company I did the video for, they see, oh, your video didn't do that well, do as well as the last ones, but you got videos of you kind of screwing around and having fun or whatever, and then that's a bad look for me because Micah, and it really doesn't affect it because it's like I spent the same amount of hours or whatever doing the video, and it, it's just sometimes some do really well and some do like all right. Maybe this time it did all right, but then I post some silly videos of like me having fun. They're like, what is he doing? Like screwing around, and he probably should have been doing this. So it is what it is. It probably doesn't really affect it.
It just reminds me of that time they had the video, the picture of like CD and I forgot who else out in the club after a loss. And they're like, they were so upset about that. But I think that people forget that football players are human.
They really do.
Like,
it's bananas.
Or do you expect them to walk
they
around
need to be
mad
working
and
out
talking
instead of being in
just
the
about,
but
like
here's
24/7.
Here's the thing,
24 hours, you're not. And then put yourself in those shoes. Like, would you 24 hours a day be on the field practicing? Like, these people have to have lives outside of it. And I think he's smart. He's setting himself up for a life outside of football. Yeah. And he's having extra income right now from that, and he's doing something that he enjoys. And how many times do people have you heard people say, like, oh, for mental health, you need, like, a positive or a good outlet? That could be this man's mental health, like, positive outlet for him. We don't know, and people are out there judging, wanting to take it away. I think it goes into that whole, like, play sports and shut up thing. Like, I don't agree with that. These are their lives. And this is the last thing. This is a little long-winded answer, but if you're not a football player, how many times do you hear people say, like, go after everything you want in life? Try to fulfill all of your goals.
Right.
And how many times do people say, oh, if I had this amount of money, I would achieve this goal and this goal? Well, these players have X and O amount of money.
Right.
Football may not be their only goal. That may not be their only dream. So while they have the money,
wow,
why not
he's
try
not
to
locked
fulfill all of their goals?
I'm going to say two things about the Micah Parsons thing. So one, going back to y'all's point about football players being human, every single football player has an endeavor outside of football. Every single one. Some of them have multiple. Like, some of them have not only a business but also a charity. So the fact that Micah Parsons has a spotlight on his and you can actually see what he's doing makes people think that they're entitled to criticize him. But literally every single football player has an endeavor outside of football. And it's like, you have to. Like you were saying, nobody is going to spend all of their time doing their job. And I just wish people would have a little bit more sense when they're saying things like that. Because I'm like, to say that his podcast takes away from football literally doesn't even make sense. Not only that, but he has managed to become like accomplish great things and become elite, not only in one career, but in 2 careers, because he's not just a podcaster. He's president of BR Gridiron. No other active athlete holds a position like that with a current sports media company.
I like this
so
question.
he's actually impacting their social media strategy. He's helping launch other shows. He has an office on the 6th floor of their office building in Manhattan. It's not just like, oh, I'm doing a podcast for fun. That's him setting himself up literally to not just have a job in media, but to be an exec after he leaves football.
Yeah.
And it's like most people cannot take on 2 roles like that in their entire lifetime.
Yeah.
How many people do you know are even elite in 1 career, much less 2? So I'm just like.
Well, when Jerry Jones trades him, we know why.
Football, I hate to say it, but like.
I think
we talk about how after 5 years after leaving the league, a lot of the players are bankrupt or whatever the case may be. There's nothing wrong with setting yourself up to have something to do after football, because not everybody can go and say, oh, I get to go be a sports commentator, or oh, I can work for this network. It doesn't work like that.
I think this is a great question to ask fans. I think I could probably go interview fans and find the ones that have those strong opinions of like, no, he needs to stop his podcast right now until we win a Super Bowl, then he can do the podcast. And then some other people at the end that are like, no, it's his career. He can do. You don't have to work 24 hours.
The Kelsey brothers did it.
But I guess just to answer Angie, everyone gets my dang name wrong. I'm just gonna change my name now. But no, I'm actually.
What did they say?
I'm not related to Cooper Rush. I'm related actually to Jason Garrett. A lot of people didn't know that. I told Dez that when I saw him at the Super Bowl, and then he cut off our interview because he just said no, it's about to get negative. So we had to cut it off right then and there.
Dang.
I'm kidding, but
he
said that, but he was. But Dez was playing around though. But I told some people at the Cowboys games, like the fans next to me, I told them, I said, yeah, I'm related to, like, that's my uncle or my dad with a straight face. And they're like, are you serious, man? And, like, then they start to, like, want to talk to you nonstop because they think that they'll get, like, an in
How
to
you doing,
the
guys?
Cowboys.
Yeah.
So can we go to the locker room? Like, no.
But no, case in point about setting yourself up. Sorry, I tend to switch topics like that. Were you done?
No, you're good.
I was actually thinking that, though, when you were sitting here. I'm like, let's talk Jason Garrett a little bit.
Yeah, you guys didn't know. You don't know who I am?
I do. I
My
used to
dad
see you as a kid on the sidelines with them.
I feel like it's so easy to pull that out.
They didn't know who I was, man. They didn't know who I was. That I was Jason Garrett's son.
No, Jason Garrett's son. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's doing fine. I mean, he'll come back. I mean, look at what the Cowboys have done without him.
He's saying his contract.
Oh, contract?
He's trying to get on with the Cowboys.
You know, give me your send me your huddle link, and I'll take a look. All right? You got me? I'm just playing.
But no, speaking of life after the league, so for example, just going to your point about the importance of setting yourself up, the NFL's player engagement program, right now, they just kicked off their slate of 2025 offseason programs. It's going to run through July. The last one that they're having in July, it's literally all about social media presence and building your brand. So that, to me, that says that there are decision makers in the NFL who, despite what everybody wants to say about what may or may not be a distraction, they are looking at the landscape and saying, hey, this is something that players actually need to do and actually need to work on. So it's like, while fans are sitting here complaining, Micah is actually at the forefront of something that the NFL is trying to improve among players.
Sorry.
No,
so.
Yeah, because actually social media is it's here to stay. It's growing. There's more of them popping up every day.
Think about how much he's talking about this next contract. Look what the Kelsey brothers did. I mean, it's something that he's going to be making. Like, he could tear. You know, so it's a risk being out on the field. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying that it's.
He could quit tomorrow. He could want to quit tomorrow.
Right. I mean, but building that brand, and think of it like this: if it wasn't Micah, if it was a guy that wasn't as talented as Micah, that wasn't going to make as much money, and they're building a brand like that, that's huge. So.
Right. Exactly.
And not everyone can do it either. So, Micah's done a great job.
We need to be learning from Micah.
What are we going to be learning from him?
He consistently aspires to greatness in everything.
Multiple streams of income.
I'm like, when it comes down to the mindset necessary to, like, say, this is what I want, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it 100%. Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing that just a lot of people in general need to learn how to implement in their lives instead of criticizing it.
What is the difference between his podcast and Brock Hoffman podcast?
Ain't none.
He both got
Nobody
podcasts.
knows about Brock Hoffman's podcast. That's why.
Well, and
That's the
Micah
difference.
Parsons is more just a character thing.
Character thing.
Micah Parsons is more interesting.
And he's got. I'll say this: he's got a good
what
team from the back end. He's got a good team that knows how to edit.
Yeah.
I'll see people that do podcasts, and then they have no idea how to edit or clip things up. They have no clue what people actually want to listen to. So, but you also got to hire someone for.
I think what
that.
will help Parsons out would be for him to get a co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have to be the right co-host.
Yeah. Sometimes when he's there and he's shooting out a strong opinion.
He needs law.
Yeah,
that.
come on, man. Be the co-host on that show, man. Man, they giving out all type of trophies now.
Micah needs a co-host that can ride the wave of his stream of consciousness, because
Right.
that in and of itself would be a skill.
I want to go on his podcast and tell him why he should be traded, and just see if he'll do that with me. And it's seriously just from a operation standpoint, and then he can argue back, and then I think it'd just be fun.
It'd be good content.
It's like
right
it's
there.
lighthearted. It's not like it's not like I hate you.
I hate you,
bro.
Micah. Get off my team.
Get on my team.
But it could be from the side of like
And he can-
silencing all of the people who think you should be traded.
It would just be entertaining.
Be entertaining, yeah. And
He'd
then
be
he
like,
can dive
bro,
into
look
it.
at this. Look at this play though.
I said this because there's it's interesting because there's a lot of people that don't like Micah, and then there's some people that love him, and so that's why, But I brought this up to some people at training camp, and I thought they were gonna grill me for this. Some people that work for the Cowboys, and I brought it up at dinner, and I said, just from a strategic standpoint. But I just said, just from a strategic standpoint, I think this. And there's guys at the dinner of, former player and some of the staff, and he goes, wait a second. I want you to repeat what you just said to me to this guy over here. And I said, shoot, am I going to get grilled? Are they going to tell me, get the hell out of here?
Yeah.
And then I said, I think they're like, go ahead, take the table. It was Sean Lee. Sean Lee didn't have anything to say about this.
Right.
But he said, Sean looked at me and said, take the table. And I told the whole table what I thought. And I said, you could set up the franchise, get cheaper, younger, more sustainable roster. And one of the guys that heard that, he said, Joe, this is why I love Joe. But he was just kind of saying, like, how he wasn't a huge fan of kind of his attitude and stuff. And so, but I take that with a grain of salt because, there's another guy that's like, oh, I love Micah.
Right. He's polarizing. On one end, people love him. On the other end, they like, can a young kid hush? So it's going to always be that with Parsons, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because this is what it is,
But I think that also when you talk about when you talk about like so and so's an a-hole, whatever. I've heard that about Troy Aikman. It seems to be pretty like everyone says that about Troy Aikman. I don't. I mean, it's crazy. So it's pretty much a consensus that Troy Aikman is an a-hole. But Tony Romo, I've heard someone say, "Oh, he's an a-hole," and then another person says, "Oh my God, he stopped and helped my mom change her tire on the side of the road." So you just can't. You kind of have to take things with a grain of salt. But when I saw some of those articles come out that there was some frustration, I think it was 105.3 The Fan said there was frustration with inside the locker room that are they going crazy on me? But there's some frustration within the locker room that people were done with Micah's attitude, which was interesting. It might have been a negotiation tactic or something. I think it was odd for the flagship station to say that, but there might have also been some truth to it. I don't know.
I hate that, but that's why I also love that CD put out that post saying, like, are y'all serious? Basically, like, squash it. Every off season, I'm tired of hearing the same topic about Micah and there being some sort of drama going on. And I think that's true. Like, every off season, it's not just Micah, but it's always, like, one of our star players that there's drama in the locker room or there's some sort of issue. And if that is, like, a preface to, hey, there's going to be some contract weird negotiations going on, just lead with that. Like, give us some honesty for once, but we don't need to hear about locker room drama.
Man.
And, yeah, I mean, when you go to training camp, you get to be around, you know, a lot of the staff and stuff and kind of just see how things are. But, you know, it's – you know, some things are just kind of off the record, but, you know, even like some of the equipment managers, it's like, how do they treat, you know, not just, it's like, you know, some of the equipment managers that, you know, they say things like there are players throughout the years, right? Where they're like, oh yeah, that guy, I can tell you about that guy. Loved him. That guy, a-hole. You know,
Really?
Like, for instance, like, who was the guy before Romo? Drew Bledsoe. For instance, one of the trainers told me, they said, Drew Bledsoe, could care less for that guy. They said he walked in, whenever I walked into the training room, he sits down on the thing and just taps his shoulder. And they're like, what does that mean, dude? He's like, ice now.
Ice now.
And he's like, dude,
terrible.
you're going to talk to me like I'm a human. So these people that have these opinions inside the building, it's not just the coaching staff. It's all of the people that are like the Cowboys staff, right, that interact with these players. So they always it's always interesting to hear their opinions, right?
I like that because from the outside looking in, you're just looking at these players and you form your own opinions of how they are in the locker room or even their outside life. So I like to kind of hear
because
how
what's interesting too is like I interviewed last year the Chiefs and the 49ers players.
Right.
And you know, I'm not comparing them to the Cowboys, but for instance, the 49ers, what really stood out to me is like all of those guys were great quality guys, just men of high character, and I don't think it was a coincidence that they were a great football team. So I think when you're looking at building a roster, you know, the Cowboys, they have a history of, you know, let's give this guy a third chance, you know, whatever. And I question that sometimes. I believe in, more chances and but the 49ers, they just whatever they got going, like they had a lot of good guys.
That, but then the Chiefs apparently had a couple of problems with their players this offseason.
They
got to the Super Bowl.
They also have a great quarterback that they can overcome some of those things. You know.
Are you saying Dak isn't a great quarterback?
Well, he's a great quarterback, but he's
kidding.
not like he's not a Mahomes or Brady. So
they're different. Mahomes,
and
Brady.
they have the perfect setup. Not the perfect setup, but they have literally all type of weapons.
Mahomes, Brady.
A lot of people
Guys,
say I look
we're
like
just
Tom
getting
Brady,
low.
but
We're only speaking lower because they're at the end of their camp and they're speaking, so the volume didn't go down. We're just talking a little lower.
Talking a little low because.
How many people are on? I can't even see. Does it say?
Don't say.
If I had to guess,
500,000. That's all. It's usually a million.
Watching right now? No,
No.
That's so many. Am I just like?
They called you Little Dalton.
I'm on here, y'all.
Little Andy Dalton. Dalton.
Hey, don't disrespect me like that. Do you not know who my dad is?
Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
You might not want to say it. Well, Jason Garrett was a respectable coach.
I'll have you
as
know.
far as
How
his
you doing, guys?
demeanor.
Yeah. Right now it's quiet time.
My parents own a $100 million yacht with a $20 million helicopter. Look up my last name.
Hey,
It's
you
funny.
know.
Oh, while we're at it, last name.
You did that interview with TCU kids.
Yeah, this
I'm
one,
a trust fund baby.
Yeah, I did the SMU one.
SMU.
You know what's the craziest thing is?
They got a lot of money.
I'm gonna start putting myself in my videos, but once I get a haircut, I'll be good. But people started noticing me from that video.
Yeah.
And I don't even put myself in the video, which is crazy. But
Wow.
that video got a lot of traction.
Yes, indeed.
But we always like to do a promo with the company that I work for in there. But I was hoping the Super Bowl one that I did with Sidney Thomas and Winston and Pat McAfee that it would blow up, but only got about 1 million.
Do you want McAfee?
Hey, do you want me to go grab this Ravens guy, the A&M guy, and see if he'll come on here?
He finna come now.
He's going to come right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
She finna bring him over now.
All right.
Shamir Turner, right? Shamir Turner. How you say the name? Shamir? Shamar?
Oh,
Shamir?
you're the recruiter. You do a good job recruiting, huh? Yeah. What's your success rate? 100?
Mm-hmm.
You're like Jerry Jones's court success rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Undefeated.
Yeah. What we got, man? What's good, man? Shoot, man. Going on with you, bro?
Do you think Jerry Jones likes Micah's podcast?
We live right now. You want to jump on?
That's the question to ask.
I think so, because Jerry Jones is actually a really outspoken person.
I think he likes the branding. He's like,
I think so, too.
Because think about Pac-Man Jones having to get a guy to follow him around, legal trouble. It's like literally Mike is just like at home yapping. So it's like, oh, he's getting views for us? Okay, can we get a cut? Like, he's probably
because usually that has to be you're right.
Yeah.
An in-house thing where it's like.
I'm going to let. I'll let anyone take my place you guys want.
Yeah, let me know.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I got my guy, man. Always call in with some good information for the nation. Darius, man. What's good with you, bro?
What's good with you, man?
Yeah. Let people know, man. People been looking for you, man, out there in the comment section, man, in the last few days. But what's good, bro?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What they been saying, man?
That bet you had. Put your mic up right here. Yeah, right there.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are live. We still live over here. I got Joe. I got Candace.
What's up, man?
Yeah. He said Cam is in the building.
Yeah.
Dips.
Yeah, I'm on my camera on, man.
You're on your camera on, man.
Yeah.
So
what you think about Debo?
One thing about Debo? Debo to Dallas?
Yeah.
Who we getting rid of?
We got to get rid of somebody?
Can we afford that?
Can we afford that? Hey, get your mic right here. Yeah. Can we really afford Debo?
I thought we was gonna get $100 million cap.
Well, if they restructure some
cap.
things around, then of course I can see Debo in the Cowboys uniform. But he didn't already put on an Eagles jersey, so he gonna have to state his case on that. You know.
Is that the trade we're getting?
Yeah, man, shoot. But Debo, in order for him to work, you got to utilize him in a unique way, because he's not an outside wide receiver with good hands. He's not a good route runner. So you're going to have that creativity of what Kyle Shanahan been doing over there at 49ers.
You don't think he's a good route runner?
Hell no, Debo ain't a good route runner.
What?
You think Debo's a good route runner?
Absolutely.
In the chat, y'all think Debo's a good route runner?
Don't cap.
Let's ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. But I think that, if you give him short to intermediate passes, I think that he can kill you with yak. I think that Debo uses his size pretty well. You can do end arounds and things like that. But as far as like a pure route runner on the outside, you got to move him all around. That's how he was able to finesse in the Kyle Shanahan system.
So what about Cooper Kupp? I'm taking Cooper Kupp all day.
Yeah, everybody's saying the volume low. I don't know what's going on.
Chat is just saying, like, he's a solid route runner, but he's not elite. He's more of a yak guy.
Yards after catch guy. Yeah.
But, I mean, it doesn't mean he's ass.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't ass. You just got to know how to utilize and use him. You just ain't going to put him out in space and say, all right, let's make it work. You line Debo up where CeeDee Lamb is at, inside that slot.
Yeah.
And get busy with it that way. Yeah.
But you're right. That's interesting. That would help our run game, too, even if we, I think if we got Ashton and Debo, I would be feeling pretty good about the offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you bring tough physicality, nastiness to the table, And it won't start off flat like we was talking about earlier in that Green Bay game.
Yeah.
Flat. Or in that 49ers
that was a mind thing.
Yeah.
I think that would help us be a lot more physical. But, I mean, yeah, it's funny because we could be having a totally different conversation if our last couple first-round draft picks, if just one of them had panned out. But it is what it is.
That's typical for us, though.
Well, we usually do really well, and then we'll have like a Taco Charlton mixed in, you know.
That is literally who I was thinking of.
Yeah, but the last two, like Mozzie coming from Michigan, no one thought that, and then
Schoonmaker. Yeah, so those are our first two.
Don't even get me started on Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker, he's not even with us, right?
He's still here. Yeah.
Who's the guy that went to the Chiefs? I interviewed him a couple weeks ago.
Hendershot.
Yeah.
Hendershot. Okay.
Yeah. He was underrated too, by the way.
Yeah, he reminds me of. He's got this. I was interviewing him. I was like, "Dang, did you just like take after Jake Ferguson? Like just his whole everything." But no, just we got a few pieces away, but a couple moves there, like a Debo and a good draft pick. I'd be feeling a lot better.
I truly believe Debo is better than Jalen Tolbert, better than Jalen Brooks, and better than who else we have? Ryan Flanoy and all.
Dude, we don't have anything after CD. Like Brandon Cooks is 2 years, away removed from being a really good receiver, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, so that's why I would say I would entertain it, but I wouldn't throw him to 30 million. What he looking for?
I got no idea.
Oh, I thought you already.
I got no idea. I just want to know your opinion on that.
Oh, nah. But that's my thoughts.
Trade Dak to the Browns.
Somebody said you wearing Debo jacket.
Stop playing with me, man.
Yeah, boy, you wearing Debo jacket. You gotta go.
No, I mean, I'm good. I'll go whenever you need me to go.
Oh,
I was looking for some water.
Man, me too. I'm parched. I think it's
I forgot. No, I'm just playing. That's not mine.
They have a cooler.
I'm looking for my nephew.
Over
so you can meet him out here.
Who your nephew is, man? How you like this camp, trench warfare?
Man, it was beautiful, man. The things that Tuck is doing, he's going deeper than just training your kids. He's actually putting you on game as far as everything that's surrounding when your kid get drafted.
Right.
When he goes to the NFL, he's kind of putting you on game about how you should manage your money.
Right.
Things of that nature. So it's like this system that Tuck got going on is amazing, man.
It's
like
dope.
I'm truly we in good hands, all state, when it comes to Tuck.
Yeah, being able to teach these guys, like you said, he got a good list, like the Jalen Carters, Jordan Davises of the world, also D-Law.
Abdul Carter.
Abdul
Mason
Carter.
Graham. Mason Graham a dog too, by the way.
Yeah. You like him. If he falls to the 12th spot, what you doing?
I doubt he will, to be honest with you.
Wait, we need to ask him the big question earlier.
What's
that? Would you do a big trade like?
Oh yeah,
would you? Would
you trade Parsons for Jamar Chase? Right.
And the draft picks.
Yeah, and then we gonna get to all of y'all super chats. It may be on the next show. I'm gonna make sure I get to all of y'all super chats, but I really appreciate y'all support and all what y'all do for the nation. But the highlight of the conversation was
y'all. This not off pink. This matches. I'm a pink girly.
Come on.
The pinks match.
Come on, come on now.
The hot pinks. I love hot pink.
Yeah.
They match.
Yeah.
It may just look like that on the camera, but it matches.
Yeah, it matches, man. Shoot, real man wear pink.
Go ahead.
Real man wear pink out here. Yes, indeed.
Breast cancer awareness.
And all that good stuff. So,
but no, I don't think I'll do that.
You wouldn't do that, yeah. It says that Darius that flip houses.
That's your boy. That's me. Yes, yes, I do flip the houses.
You flip the houses,
yes,
man. I'm.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk. I'm getting into real estate. I'm studying to get my real estate license. Yes.
Okay.
First time saying it on camera.
hey, what's the man to know then? Shoot, he flipped them houses. Shoot, that's good money right there, bro. Good resources too to be able to, you don't
gotta have a 9 to 5.
This just between us three, but Jerry Jones that's bought 111.
And Waxahachie, like this, right?
Oh, I'm we live. Yeah, he bought all that property in Waxahachie. I said, shoot, hey, follow the money.
A Law Nation secret.
Oh, they passing out them boxes.
I need to catch my my nephew, make sure he know I'm still in the building.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me one of them boxes over there. Get one of them boxes over there for me. Jason Deli. They got salads and stuff. You want a box from Jason Deli? Okay, good. Let me showcase the box live on the deal. Jason Deli, one of the sponsors of Trench Warfare. Nah, let me put it. Jason Deli.
Oh, this the sound boy?
Yeah,
right
Jason Garrett.
Okay.
He started Jason's Deli. A lot of people don't know that.
Showcase it to the world, man.
Can they see?
Yeah, they can see it right there.
Yeah, so I gave one of the guys a cookie because I said, I was like, can I just pretend like I'm giving it to you since they denied me because I'm not a player? So to get some food, I was like, all right, I'll give you the cookie. He's like, all right, cool. So I just got basically free food.
No, you didn't get free food. You better get out there and run a route.
Run a route?
Oh,
I can. I can run basically the best route there is.
Didn't your dad teach you, Jason?
The best route there is if you're just, running around, whatever, is you do a stop and go. Everyone knows that. You just run straight, stop, and then you go.
You set them up with the vertical first, and then you go stop it.
And then you stop, and then you keep going.
That's a classic. That's a classic of all.
Yeah.
But you practice all the time, right, with your dad, Jason Garrett?
The last offensive coordinators we had here.
Jason taught me. I already had the physical attributes, but he just taught me basically the X's and O's and stuff like that. But. That's why I could have played, but I was like, I'll make more money doing the content stuff, so that's why I did that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Garrett made more money broadcasting than he is coaching. So, yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Yeah. And where have the Cowboys gone since, he was let go? So, I mean.
I don't know about that.
Cooper Garrett is wild.
Cooper Garrett is wild. What's your thoughts on the new coach, man, Shotty Hammer? Shotty. I said Shotty Hammer. Shotty.
You a 5 on him, right? Like on a scale from 1 to
5.
10.
Yeah, I'm a 5 on him.
Right now, I kind of like the people that he's bringing in, like his coaches, the Clayton Adams, Overstreet, guys like that. And just the overall mentality that I'm kind of hearing that the coaches is kind of bringing.
Right.
So right now, I feel kind of good about Brian Schottenheimer right now. I do. I think we can at least make it to the NFC Championship within 2 years.
Right.
But we'll see though. But I think with that physicality, mindset and mentality that we can really make some shake with it.
No doubt, man. It's always good, man, to see you, man. I thank you for calling in.
Yes,
I know you got things you got to run and do. But, hey, let's get it. One way or another, that's Darius that flip houses.
Yeah.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's good to meet you, bro.
Yeah. That's my guy right there. He calls in. And you go get him? Yeah, okay, all right. We'll sit him right here.
Y'all, chat people. Can you please be nice? Be nice.
You know what
it's a cruel, harsh world. People go through so much. What if your comment is the comment that pushes somebody to their edge?
What
be
you
nice.
Look, what you talking about?
This is how you change the whole vibe of the chat. So when I get on TikTok and people start hating, watch, it won't work now because I said it. But you just say, guys, no hate, only love.
No hate, only love.
Let me try it.
And I follow people back. I say, if you put love in the comments or say something positivity, I'm following you back. Following everyone back now. Actually, I'll follow. Let's follow how many can we do? I'll follow the next few people back that on Instagram. Put your Instagram tag, and I'll follow you back if you comment something positive.
Oh, they are.
They are.
It's okay, y'all. It's just so I used to teach, and that was a big thing for me. I didn't and I know y'all aren't bullying. I know y'all are joking around.
Can I say one thing? Or if you say something funny, that was the other part.
Yeah.
If you say something funny too.
Well,
sorry.
Well, I get it all the time. But people they talk about me, man.
I know.
they say I look like James Harden. Oh my gosh. Yes, indeed.
Well, they tell me that I sing like Beyonce.
You sing like Beyonce?
But y'all have to pay to hear that.
Yeah, to pay to hear.
You sing?
Absolutely.
Can you do it right now? Could you
I
sing?
need the same walls as I have in my restroom. And I need the song volume to be really loud.
Can you do Amazing Grace for 15 seconds? Or
I need
or the 30 for 30 or All the Stars.
Huh? Water? Yeah, 3 drinks. Huh? Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'll be there. Oh, you trying to tell me I can get some Jason
I can grab us some.
Go ahead, grab us some. Go ahead and grab us some. Candy gonna grab us some over here. So I'm manning the now just Just the two of us, man. Sure, just the two of us. What? He got to go.
Wait, who is it? I'll go recruit.
Go get him. Go get him. Go get 5-second elevator speech.
Is it the Ravens guy? Yeah.
How long do you need? 5 minutes? He said he has an appointment.
Yeah, an appointment.
Needs to go right now.
If he can, yeah. He trying to do the 5-second elevator speech. He gonna get him too. Well, we can go ahead and start tearing it down a little bit, but it was a great episode, a great time. We got one of the sponsors that's in the building finna come over, and we're gonna do the Jason Deli
That's
special.
what's up.
Yeah, and she's bringing it on. Yeah. Give me the turkey. I want to stay away from the swine for right now. I'll stay from the swine for your mind. But, nothing wrong with the ham now. Ham.
I don't like ham.
You don't like ham? Well, come on, you can get a turkey. But Jason Deli, baby, hey, appreciate them for providing the food for this particular event. And we didn't have a good time at all. We had a great time out here. Got a chance to talk about the Cowboys and who they should go get and trading Micah Parsons away from Skittles. And what
We
else
are
we
not
talking about?
trading Micah
Rainbows?
Parsons.
Yes, we are. Trade
Get
Micah
it out of
Parsons.
your head.
Trade Micah Parsons. No, I'm just playing.
We are not.
No,
Get it out of
keep
your
Micah
head.
Parsons. Keep Micah Parsons.
Y'all,
You know?
There
we
we go.
need to. I'm gonna say this. We need to hold on to the good players that we have. Okay. Everybody else we have just acquired. Like, okay, let's grab this person, and let's develop them. Let's keep the developed players that we have, please, please.
They won't let it go.
How did that pink
Yeah, I
really
won't let it
match
go,
your
man.
kid? No, the pink
Yeah.
really did match, y'all. I promise. I'm not just gonna say something to say it. It matched.
Man.
What Darius had on? Yeah, did it not look like it matched or something?
Oh,
I guess to them, they
with
thought
a
it was
light-
like a light pink beanie and a hot pink. But
I mean, I saw it in person. I thought it matched.
See,
It's solid.
Y'all hurt his feelings, y'all. That's why he cried and walked off.
I love
He
you.
did. But I was playing.
I missed all of that.
Nah, but that was my guy Darius that flipped houses, man. We had not just a good time, a great time out here. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. We are live on multiple outlets. We are live on Bitches Love Sports. We live on Candy's Locker Room. And then Joe, he gonna take this clip, and we gonna see it on tick to the top, right? Ain't it right? Or tell Jason Garrett, man. Yeah.
Because who made Kellen Moore?
Jason Garrett.
Who made Dak Prescott?
Jason Garrett.
Who drafted Micah Parsons?
Mike
Well,
McCarthy.
besides
Mike
the
McCarthy,
point.
yeah.
Anyway, no, I'm playing.
I was like, where we going with this?
I was following you. Yeah.
I'm like, where wasn't Jason?
Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, Jason was on his way up out of it.
I'm kidding, but
Yeah.
I feel
New
like
York.
I don't know. I feel like
Sorry.
what they've done the same thing, basically the same thing almost with. I mean, McCarthy did a little better, but
Got Tyreek
anyway,
Hill.
they didn't win a Super Bowl.
They do look just like Tyreek Hill. Hill.
That's what I said, and then he took his shirt off and he's got that big old belly.
Oh.
But I did think it was.
He did. Hey, he do look like Tyreek Hill, though. You heard me, didn't you? Know you look like Tyreek. Come here. Come
I'm
here.
pretty sure he hears that all the time.
Tell him come here. We're gonna let the audience say. Come, just come right here.
music.
Come on.
We have the fastest man in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Tyreek
Cheetah.
Hill. Cheetah. Come on with it. Don't you say you don't look like Cheetah? Zion Will.
Zion.
We got Tyreek Hill on the show, y'all. Come on with it. Cheetah, baby. Yeah. What's your real name?
My name is London Green.
Okay.
What's your position?
I play D and linebacker.
Okay.
What school?
I go to DeSoto High School.
DeSoto High
Dope.
School.
Yeah, I'm in 11th grade.
Any
Yes,
offers
ma'am.
yet?
No, ma'am. Soon, though. Soon.
Soon.
That's what's
Working
up.
for it.
Are you going to keep working with Coach Tuck?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
We got to.
Got to get it, man. Good
Thank
luck,
you. I
man.
appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day, too.
You too.
Man. Boy, well spoken, man. Yes, indeed.
This man had media training.
Yeah, Texas.
You did?
Yeah, London, yeah.
You had media training for real? Oh, okay.
London what?
Yeah, London. London Green.
What's his name?
Hill.
That young man is gonna make it. London Green. Y'all keep an eye out for him. And no media
no more
training.
questions, ladies and gentlemen. No more questions.
Media.
All right, man. Let's get on up out of here, man. One love, DC for life. Be sure to check out Everybody panel and subscribe and follow Joe, Candace, and Jazz from.
Oh, he does look like that.
I don't think so. Huh? Oh, what? Bitches Love Sports.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it twice.
I'm listening to both of y'all at the same time and reading the chat. I was like, what?
Yes, indeed. All right, get on up out of here.